Hello and welcome back to the Bronco Wave. Today again with Bitcoin in US dollar. And yeah, Bitcoin essentially did just a massive push up. In my last video I mentioned, okay, we have to keep an eye on this line essentially here and on the bottom line. So if Bitcoin decides to break down, it was on the route down. Essentially this B would probably then have been here, and we got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move C down. Bitcoin decided to go through the roof essentially and push all the way up. It is on the verge of still being a B, so we can get this overshooting B move, which is not unusual, which happens from time to time, especially when the market is undecided. We get a correctional move down, a move B that overshoots the previous high, and then a move C down, which either goes below this previous low, which would be ideally my preferred scenario down here, which would leave this at roughly $9,500 as a target, or we get a running wave C, which would probably stop somewhere at this trend line. Maybe it bounces off, doesn't go below this low, thus being running. And if we get this, this should be a very bullish sign, and maybe be a hint that Bitcoin will probably for a long time, maybe never ever go below $10,000. So this is definitely a possibility right here. Right now we can see the MACD is very high, so Bitcoin has gone very high up. The rules from an Elliott wave perspective state that I will just take the Fibonacci retracements. Let me just see. No, I have to take them the other way around. Just 1 second. Okay, so this is it probably, yeah. So we can see that roughly, let me just place it here correctly, like this. Okay, yeah. So we can see that this wave B, so if we get an overextending correctional wave B, yeah, so I measured this length of the wave A. This is my Fibonacci move essentially, on which on the basis of this move, those retracements and projections are calculated. And roughly this move B cannot overextend above this 0.618 extension, 1.618 extension. If it does this, this is not a wave B, and we have an impulsive move up, which would mean that this was the low and Bitcoin will just essentially rocket off, in my opinion. Yeah, so if we break through there, we should see something like this. Maybe get an in-between correctional move, which would be very briefly, but then rocket on and yeah, go up to new highs essentially. That being said, Bitcoin right now is starting to struggle. We can count a little, we can count this as an ABC move, yeah, A, B, C, D, E triangular move. This would be the correction of this, excuse me, not the correction, of course the correctional, but also the connecting move B. So we would have gotten this A, B, and now we are in the midst of this final wave C. And wave Cs are typically made of an impulsive move, and we can count this as a 1, 2, 3. This is very distinct for a wave 3, strong candles, a wave 4 with a flat correctional pattern, and a wave 5 up, ideally that doesn't extend below above $13,500. So this is the make or break for this count essentially. Yeah, so if Bitcoin goes above this $13,500 mark, this scenario is invalid, and this is not a correctional pattern but an impulsive pattern essentially. Okay, so let's just have a look at from the daily perspective, at the weekly perspective again. I will just switch to the weekly chart, and yeah, here we can see that essentially Bitcoin the MACD started going up again. So this could be a sign that we maybe get a continuing upwards movement. I mentioned that essentially every time this line crossed, the blue line crossed the orange line, it led to a massive correctional move. This time we got a crossing as well, but if we compare this, yeah, if we take this down here and move all the way back in history towards here, we can see that from this crossing essentially there started this massive bull run up and pushed Bitcoin to new highs, and also the MACD. So there could still be some room left, and on a weekly basis just to go up. But still on a daily basis, you could expect some kind of correctional move right now, and Bitcoin may be going down. Yeah, so at least for a moment. If we are in a wave 4, I would just take this away. We could look for correctional patterns starting from the low, from the beginning of this wave 3 to the supposed top of this wave 3. And we can see essentially that right now the correctional move just barely touched this 0.236 retracement, and maybe Bitcoin within a wave 4 goes down towards this 38.2 retracement, which is perfectly possible and perfectly healthy. From here we could see a wave 5 up, which either should bounce off at the latest $13,500 or go through and push towards this trend line right here. And if it bounces off there, we can expect just another correction pattern and then a final move 5 up, which maybe could take Bitcoin towards this high around here, maybe. So a lot of tricky situations, and Bitcoin is pushing very hard, so it's really tricky and very interesting, of course, to have a further look at Bitcoin. And I'm pretty excited as to where Bitcoin will head next. I would really love Bitcoin to see just to go into a correctional mode just for some time, to go down once more, in order to generate some potential for also gather some momentum just to start the rocket maybe from here. This, in my opinion, would be really ideal. But who knows what market participants will do. Maybe they will just buy Bitcoin all the time and we will just rocket off from here. So that's definitely a possibility. And we will see about this, especially in a couple of days, or latest in a couple of days, ultimately. Okay, so that's it for the short update for Bitcoin for the moment. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and see you soon.